in this episode of Highlight Sundays, mobile technology old and new. Hello and welcome back to Highlight Sundays. It is the 16th week of 2013 and here are your highlights. We jump right into an article from Gizmodo entitled How Chinese Scammers Are Swapping Fake iPhone Parts for the Real Deal. So it seems they've found a new way to cheat the system. Now apparently what they do is they actually bring some components, they claim it's genuine, they bring it to Apple and they say, well, it's broken and we would like a replacement. Apple goes ahead and replaces this, and then eventually realized that the parts that were given to them were actually fake parts. According to the article, a particular retailer actually received 121 fake iPhone 4S boards. These were of course swapped for the real deal, and well, that means that the scammers actually make away with proper expensive equipment. Now the article itself doesn't actually conclude anywhere. All they say is, well, the police were involved, but as far as I can tell, no real conclusion to this. If you're an Apple Store employee, keep your eyes open, that's all I can say. Windows on your wrist, says this article from Ars Technica. Microsoft is working on a smartwatch too. Now you know how interested I am in smartwatches and in fact just wearable computing in general. I was very attracted by the Pebble and I was very interested in the prospects of a Samsung smartwatch. And well, it looks like now Microsoft has joined the party. As long as it's not a Windows Phone-like interface, I should be quite interested in taking a look at it. If you actually head down to the article link in the video description, you will notice that there were actually pictures of Bill Gates taking photos with a particular smartwatch. That is in fact pictures of their 2004 attempt at doing a smartwatch. That's nearly a decade ago. By the sounds of it, that didn't really take off. And I guess this kind of sounds like the Samsung story when I covered it, because they too attempted a smartwatch some years back that didn't really take off. But now that this has become some sort of a trend, who knows, maybe they will have more success. Now I'd just like to point out at this time that this information did not actually come from Microsoft themselves. In fact, it was a component supplier who actually revealed this information. So first of all, this is a rumor. We have no idea how accurate this information is. Not to mention, well, Microsoft could easily be getting these components for some other use. However, having said all that, I will be interested to see Microsoft's take on a smartwatch. Our next article comes from Engadget and it's entitled Lynx, a 3D point-and-shoot camera/tablet, does motion capture and 3D modeling. Okay, this is kinda unlike anything we've seen before, at least according to my experience, so let's jump right in and see what exactly it is. According to the article, the way this little bit of kit works is very similar to that of the Xbox Kinnect. For those of you who haven't seen those photos, essentially the Kinnect sends out a whole bunch of infrared beams. By seeing at what point those beams bounce back, the Kinnect has an idea of the depth information. By the sounds of it, this is exactly how the Lynx operates. But what's more powerful about this is you can actually hold it up just like you are taking a photo with a tablet. And if you move around your subject, what's gonna happen is it's gonna make use of the depth information and actually recreate a 3D model of the object you're scanning. Now, this is actually pretty new. That's not to say that there aren't actually custom programs written to work with the Kinnect to do that, but the results are kinda janky. For those of you who are interested to see more about 3D scanning with the Kinnect, there's actually a very nice video from Corridor Digital, which I will link as a bonus link in the video description. But back to the article, essentially this article is covering the time an Engadget reporter actually got to play around with one of these devices. According to the report, it actually scans a human head in just a couple of minutes, and the resulting 3D model is processed in such a way that it's ready for 3D printing right away. There is also a video link to this article, which of course you can find a link to in the video description. If you're interested in 3D modeling or stuff like that, you will probably want to check this out. Did you know that when you buy music off a service like iTunes or Amazon, the song is actually uniquely tagged, so it's actually able to identify you? Of course, the premise behind this is if you decide to pirate and you share that particular file that you bought, it can be traced back to you. However, I guess not a lot of people are actually comfortable with having music files that could uniquely identify themselves, which is why this article was even written in the first place, coming from Lifehacker and entitled Desiccates scrubs personal data from iTunes and Amazon bought tunes. So really, this is quite simple. You have a little .NET Framework app. What you do is you import all the MP3s that you bought, and at a click of a button, basically it strips out all the metadata. The actual audio track itself will of course not be affected by this, since this is a metadata cleaning utility. Some users reported that their comments on certain songs from certain sources are actually removed in this process as well, so you might want to look out for that. The article also does mention the point about piracy, that if you decide to pirate, they can use this feature to track you. But the disadvantage of having this feature is the fact that if your computer was lost, or you have your music files stolen somehow, this could of course be quite bad for you. So pros and cons to every method of digital rights management, if you can put it that way. So if you're not comfortable with being trackable in this manner, you may want to check out this solution. As always, link is in the video description. But that's it, that's all there is for this episode of Highlight Sundays. Nothing much to vlog about this week. We will have a pretty busy week ahead. You will be getting 3 videos from me whilst I study for my exams. So yeah, you can look forward to an extra video this week. This will also be my second last week of being burdened with exam stuff. So you can look forward to that as well, because of course past this stage I will be putting everything into doing my videos again. But alright, that's all there is for this episode. If you have any comments, queries or suggestions, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. Don't forget to check out the official Twitter page for the channel at twitter.com/0612tv. As always, I appreciate every like, favorite and subscription you give me. But until next time, you are watching 0612TV.